So I guess we have to start with you where we always start with you, and that's the state of the flyweight division, right? You know, I mean, we always talk to you about it, but I know you follow the news. I mean, did you see Dana's comments the other day where it sounds like he said, I promise it's sticking around. What'd you make of him?
That was good. It was good just to get some kind of answer or thought, you know, that was going on about it. So, you know, they never said it was cut, but it looked like it was, so everyone could see evidence. But to come out and say that was great. Even months before that, they said this next fight with Formiga would be a #1 contender fight. So it's kind of like, it's weird to have a #1 contender fight in a division they don't plan sticking around. And then since then, they've been making fights, you know, with different guys that lost, guys that won. Just, I guess, whoever's left, since there's only a few of us last of the flyweights right now. But I think it's just building back up now. #1 contender, saying it's staying around. All good signs. So for me, business as usual. I have a fight in front of me. Worry about that and, you know, handle things as they come.
What is the state? I mean, we know that it's staying around, but Henry now is at 135, and now he's talking about 145, and now he's hurt. Like, what is the state of the
that guy? What's the state of him is the question. Who knows? But, you know, he's kind of all over the place with that. But at the end of the day, he's a 125-pound champion. You know, he fought at 35 last. I think it would make sense to fight at 25 again. I'm the only person of the contenders that he could fight. I'm the only one with history of him. Not only that, a win over him. So you figure he'd want to do that. The company would want to do that. No offense to anyone that he called out or anyone, you know, that was a #1 contender that made themselves #1 contenders that night. I just make the most sense with Henry. You know, we have a history, ultimate fighter, an amazing, one of the best fights of the year, and his last loss is me. So, yeah, it makes sense to do that next. Obviously, always looking to the future, but in the present, got to get past Formiga. That's why you don't hear me raving and ranting about it, because you know, at the end of the day, I have a tough fight in front of me and a guy that actually lost a split decision to Cejudo in a close fight and has improved since then. So his two best contenders are at flyweight, honestly, a split decision loss and someone that beat him. So this is a big fight for the division, and I think the rightful contender comes out of this fight the winner.
Sorry to make you harp on it, though, but when you're watching him, he wins at 135. He's the champion in your weight class, and then he starts calling out, like, retired guys.
It was wild.
What are you thinking at that time?
Nothing surprises me from that guy anymore. It's just great to watch from a distance, you know. It's fun. It's always something interesting to be said. It's always something also, though, that in a way brings attention. There's always some kind of soundbite or some kind of meme or picture or something that all attention, you know, at this point in our division, and actually now the two lightest divisions, you know, if you could just compound them together at flyweight and bantamweight, I think a lot's being done, a lot's being said. There's a lot of movement, a lot of talk, regardless, you know, of how it's happening. So, you know, I think anybody in the media and fans know what he's doing. You know, he's calling out the biggest names and, you know, people that make sense, but or that don't make sense, but they just don't make sense right now. Like, those are big names and great fights potentially, but in the state of the two divisions right now, like I said, there's no question that I'm the best fight for him.
With Cejudo hurt out for the rest of the year, and of course Demetrius gone from the division, do you think the rest of the years, and now that we know the flyweight division is going to stick around, you think the rest of the year is an opportunity for fighters like yourself, other flyweights, to establish themselves as the face of the division in his absence?
Yeah, I think so. Just to continue to make faces, you know, potential stars, and, you know, people that you look forward to seeing fighting. You know, I think they're making a lot of good fights now that are on the docket already. You know, matched up, Pantoja, Figueiredo. You know, I think Matt Schnell, Danger, like, he's always like a good face that people are going to realize. And, you know, even if they brought some guys back that were cut, I think would be great now that, you know, things are a little more certain. But yeah, it's definitely an opportunity to do that, because there's not going to be probably a title fight before the end of the year to really, you know, bring the attention. So yeah, everybody else does what every fighter in our division or not does, is they try to fight for a name for themselves every day, fight off the prelims, you know, fight towards main events, fight towards, you know, people caring about them.
Going back to the first Formiga fight, you finished that fight in the first round, but were you in there long enough to get the read on him that you anticipated, or the second time around, are there other scenarios maybe you anticipate that you didn't get a clear read on in the first fight?
Yeah, of course. It's kind of hard. I mean, obviously you're always happy. Like, the preparation is there, and you're always happy to go in and finish a guy in 2 minutes, especially a top guy like Formiga, and not have to battle with him. But those are also the guys you're like, well, I don't need to fight him again. You know, the odds are you're not going to knock him out in 2 minutes again. So, but I look forward to that in a way of, like, now I get to just show some more things. So, yeah, I didn't get to see everything by any means, but, you know, it's nice to me I didn't. I don't feel like I got lucky with it. I feel like, all right, if you look at the fight with stand-up and I knocked him out, we didn't grapple. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I'd love to out-grapple him, you know. I know that I can. You know, I think that's his best thing, and I think I'd beat him in a grappling match as well. So you got to expect there's going to be some adjustments and a lot of things we didn't see in the first fight, because the first fight was 2 minutes on the feet. So funny enough about that fight, I just found out it was 6 years ago. I just was telling everybody I beat him 2 years ago. Like, that's how our brains work in the sport. Like, everything was just the other day or whatever. And then I was telling guys, yeah, I knocked him out like 2 years ago. Because, like, it's a weird thing. You just, time flies, you know. I don't know when the first flyweight even fight started, like when the division came. I don't know what year that was. But, yeah, someone was telling me that. And then someone was like, yeah, you guys, exactly. And then someone was like, yeah, so you guys fought 6 years ago? And I was like, what? Oh, I told everyone 2 years ago. It's a big difference. But, yeah, so there's going to be, I think, a lot. It's a whole different fight. He's at different camps. He's gotten better. But at the end of the day, you know, we've done what we've done in the past in our careers for a reason. You know, like, I've been at the top. You know, he's had a hard time getting there. And, you know, I don't think it's anything, you know, really against him. Is just different, you know, skill sets that, you know, you have to have at the top.
Along those same lines, as far as the timeline, like, you've had such a long career as you know, an established, you know, kind of star in the sport. Like, has it felt like a long career, or does it feel like, you know, you just started?
Man, it's weird. Like, it feels like it when you talk about it, because there's so much to, like, talk about, honestly, and look back at it. Like, I just did a podcast the other day, and we started at the beginning, and I was like, man, this has been crazy. And, like, you sometimes get younger guys talking to you like you used to talk to older guys. So then I'm kind of like, then I kind of look back on it. In the moment, the action, like I said, like, I thought I fought the guy 2 years ago. So it doesn't seem like like 6 years ago. So that 10 years doesn't seem like 10 years. It seems like 5 or whatever. Like, it was just yesterday, you know, I was walking in to wherever I was, you know, WC or Faber's gym, or meeting this person or that person. And, you know, and now we're just here. So, you know, but just try to stay grateful and appreciative of it every day. And every day I get to do it, you know, it's just a nice time. So I think that's why it flies by, because I just look at every day and it's just a new day, and it's nice. Like, even when I come in here today, it's just like, oh, this is cool. Get to come to this cool place, talk to you guys, and, like, work out after, do what I like, you know.
Joe, can we talk about that a little more? When you and I first spoke, you had recently relocated to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Tell me how your life has changed, being in a new city with a new team.
Yeah, just different. Once again, like, in this sport, everything is so individual that I don't think anything is better. It's all about for the individual. Like, you can't say this is better, that's better. Like, whatever is better for the person is good. I've been coming back and forth to Vegas for 9 years. You know, I started training a long time ago with Sean Tompkins. You know, I passed through Robert Fallis. I hate to be, like, morbid, but that's 2 dead coaches. You know, I've passed through in 9 years. So I've been in Vegas for a long time, meeting people, making things, and I made my life here. My wife has lived here since we met, so I was always coming back and forth. Even if I was training in SAC, I was visiting here, training, but, like, got to go do my training in SAC. So about 5 years ago, made the change, and I couldn't be happier. The great thing about Vegas, just talking on the training level, like you say, the new team is it's new for me. It's different. I've been so used to, like, a super team at Alpha Male and everything kind of spread out, a little more camaraderie and everything. Here with the PI involved, and you obviously have a home base, like for me is Extreme Couture, but I can kind of make my own schedule. I'm at the point, you know, with this place and established in my career where I can get my coach and we can train here. I can get 3 partners and we can train here. So it's nice because it's a little bit more on my terms. I don't have to say, like, who's our coach? Like, I had to used to at Alpha Male is like, who's our coach? But also, like, what time is the practice? You know, who's running it? Like, I can kind of run all my own schedule. This place, UFC PI, has honestly been a blessing. The coaches I've met have been a blessing. All the people. So, like I said, it's just one of those things. I think Alpha Male is one of the greatest teams ever, but at a certain point when you do something, you know, 10 years, 11 years, something new is better. You know what I mean? So that's really what it comes to here. And then this is where my family life is as well. You know, with my wife, this is where we made a home, got married, got engaged, all that. So, and like I said, to square it down, like, just the more I was in Vegas, the more I wanted to stay. So I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to stay there. It's great.
Do you feel pressure at all, like, going to this fight since you won, like, you against him, you know, with a knockout before, to go there and put your mark, especially because you have just not that many people right now in flyweight, and also Cejudo was saying that he might not come back to defend his title at the division 125.
Yeah, and you know what? The pressure doesn't lie in those things, in the win again and the Cejudo stuff, like that, the external things. The pressure never lies in that stuff for me. Like, those are bonuses when I win and you know, make people proud. But going in there, the pressure is more internal. Like, I'm trying to do my best here, so I obviously want to succeed, you know. And that's really all it comes down to, is going out there and fighting and performing like you can. And there's other motivations and everything, but it's not really those external, like, they're positive. You know, the pressure is really, you know, it's a bonus when you like hush it, or you know, you perform and everything, but I don't think about that stuff going in. I think about kind of the fight in front of me, and there's pressure every fight that I put on myself, you know, and succeeding, you know, chasing the title, you know, chasing everything I do and just trying to be the best at what I can do. Like, that's the pressure I put on myself. I don't feel pressure from other people. I feel more like inspiration from them, if that makes sense. Like I get happier and more motivated to, like, make people proud than I do in, like, oh my God, these guys think I'm gonna do this, you know, and I need to do it. Like, I don't succumb to pressure like that. Like, even peer pressure, like, that's not my thing. Like, people can't make fun of me or, like, peer pressure me to do anything, because I just, like, it doesn't bother me, you know. I'm just comfortable with kind of whatever I am and whatever happens.
It's along those same lines, but, like, you've basically been the #1 contender, like, since the division started. So how have you been able to maintain focus and, like, not let somebody pass you and not have a letdown at some point?
Yeah.
But, like, every single fight, somebody's gunning for you. Not quite at the champion, but, like, you're at that level every single fight.
I'd actually like to say I've been a #1 contender in 2 divisions for probably, like, 8 years. In 2 different divisions, and been, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's just me, you know, bragging a little bit. But going back again and thinking about, like, how long stuff has been. Like, I was a #1 contender at 35, even when the UFC and WC got combined, and then became the #1 contender at another weight class. And that was 8 years ago, and I haven't dropped out of that 1 to 2 spot ever. So the question is, how does it feel with the guys, like, gunning at me like that? Like,
yeah, I mean, like, you every fight is like, okay, this is the fight to fight for a title almost. Like,
yeah.
You don't let somebody pass you up. Like, you still are able to maintain the focus of being there.
You know what? It just comes, I think, from preparation. Is nothing changes for me from what I've been doing. Like, I got to go in the gym every day, and, like, the things that make those fights look like that, like, it's easy to say, oh, well, he fought this time, you know, got past that guy, but that, honestly, the only reason that happens is because what I do every day for 8 years, for 9 years. The fights, you know, tell the tale of what I've been doing, but literally every day, a Wednesday, you know, I got to go in, and I'm not trying to get through practice. Like, I'm trying to win every single position every day, and it just comes from that preparation. that you do every day. So I think that's why I've been able to do it. Like, I think about that every day. Like, I go into practice and I don't feel like practicing, but I'm like, if I'm not winning every round against a guy not in the UFC or, you know, an amateur or something, like, how am I going to beat, you know, the #1 contender guy that's gunning after me? And it's just been a consistent, like, long time like that. Like, driving to practice and just knowing, like, you know, you got to do this, you got to be ready to do it. And so then when push comes to shove in there, I think that's why I've been able to succeed so long.
It's clear that you're not looking past this fight at all, but I mean, if you win, you feel like an interim title's in order? I mean, we don't know what's happening with Henry. You know, his injury, you know, what division he's going on. Do you feel like an interim title would make sense, especially if you are trying to reestablish the flyweight division?
Yeah, it would be weird as far as, I think in any other division, they'd probably throw it right out there once the champ was injured, once he was kind of stuck up. But with our division and how small it is, you know, like, there's one title fight to make, me and Cejudo. So there's not really, I feel, an interim. Like, if it would be, it'd be me and Formiga, who are already fighting now. So after that, I mean, I don't know who the interim title would be with. It kind of makes sense. You know, if he's not going to come back and the division's sticking around, it should be a vacant or an interim, but this is the matchup that I feel would be an interim. So maybe it's just weird timing, you know, that he just won the title and he's injured, and this is already set how it is. So, you know, I think if this was to happen 6 months down, you know, then it would probably be in order. So I don't see another person in the division right now that an interim title would make sense with, honestly.
When you talk about trying to win, like, every position, every practice, every day, like, how do you avoid that becoming, like, mentally just draining and exhausting to be that sharp and that focused all the time?
No, it is. I mean, fighting is mentally and physically exhausting. So that's really what it comes down to. But you have to be willing to go through that as well, you know, on an everyday basis to perform like that in the cage. So, yeah, it's a crazy thing. I think about that all the time. And I just think about the fights, but I'm just like, no, and you know what's hard is, like, the Wednesday where I'm just like, oh, I don't want to leave my house. Like, my dog's on my lap and, like, me and my wife are talking and, like, watching TV. But I'm like, got to go fight this dude or this other, you know, 5 other guys. So, yeah, I mean, it is mentally and physically exhausting. Like, there's no really way around that, but just about managing it with, I think, a positive attitude, good home life, for sure. So there's that, but also I think just liking what you're doing, like, knowing that's just kind of the process. I think some people can do that, and you hear people say, like, you never see me saying, like, oh, this is a grind every day and rise and grind hashtag, because I'm not rising and grinding. Like, I go to practice with a smile because I'm like, I get to do this. You know, like, I think about single moms or something that are, like, really grinding. Like, they made a lunch and put their kids to school, and now they're going to freaking work at a job as a cashier and deal with rude people that they don't like. Like, I kind of think of that. So you never see me, like, saying stuff like that because it's like I get to wake up and, like, have fun and, like, do something I like that challenges me every day. So yeah, that's I forgot what the question was. But you know what I mean?
How important is it to have that goal of the belt?
Oh, but that's how it doesn't take me out. That's how it doesn't take me out, because I just keep a positive, like, I keep a positive think, and it keeps me in, it always puts me in perspective to live in the, like, moment of what's happening. You know what I mean? Even right now, even though, like, we've done this a million times, just to think, like, oh, I'm still doing this. This is good. You know, keep it going. I got to train after this. You know, just take every second like that and stay just, like, appreciative of the moments and while I can still do this.
What do you think about Uriah coming back?
Sorry. I think it's great. It's great. It's fun. The guy's a competitor at heart. He's 40. He just had a kid, so he's just inspired. And to be honest, the guy was performing in his last fight. He didn't lose. So he was still performing, so I'm sure he's been training after that, got the bug. He just did a grappling match against, like, a 17-year-old phenom. So he's the California kid for a reason, even though he's 40 years old. He's still a kid, you know? So he's, I think he's ready to rock. He's active, like, the guy, that's what he does. He trains, I'm sure, every day, even though I'm not there, competing with everybody, and to the point of, you know, he's taking it because he is looking to win.
We are going
Sorry.
to
Sorry.
How
sorry.
important is it to have that goal of the belt there? If you didn't have that, would it be much harder to keep that level of motivation going?
No, honestly, it used to be like that. The belt was such like a destination, you know, and it wasn't really about the journey. Like it was just this one like magical thing that was going to make everything better. And obviously it will, like that's always the goal, but it's just a different change. Like it just means different things, you know. Like the belt used to mean like I was the best and I did this, and it was more just like it was me kind of thing. Like I would look at the belt while I was running, a picture of it. It was this like mythical thing. But now it's like I've competed with the best. I've done this. Like the best thing about winning the belt would be like celebrating with my wife backstage, you know? So like that's what motivates me now, is like that would be, you know what I mean? Like I used to just be like, I'd have a belt. It'd be the best. What am I going to do? Put it on my mantle or something? But now when I think about winning, I think about like all the people that would make happy, and like those instances, and like, you know, just like going through everything and then achieving it, you know? So I'm sorry. That was weird.
It's a long journey.
Yeah, the journey, and like the people that sacrifice for you, like now that's what it means to me. And there was still people that sacrificed me even back then, but all I could think about was myself and the belt, and like I would be the best, right? I would be known as the best guy. And so it was like, it was such an object and a destination I couldn't control. You know, now it's about the journey, and it's like the thing that motivates me about that is because, oh, it's going to make everybody else, you know, happy and stuff like that. And obviously there is that part still deep down, like it's going to be a great achievement of self-worth and hard work and all the stuff you hear, I think everybody else say why they want to win the belt, you know, the legacy and all that. Like that is always going to be a part of why you want to do it. But like the motivations just change for it, you know. I don't like look at a belt anymore. I look at like, oh, it's going to make her so happy, you know. And obviously I'm going to feel really good about it too. And even people that have supported me, you know, in the past, you know, family, my mom, you know, like stuff like that. I think about that. So it's not like a selfish thing anymore. It's more just like, so it's kind of weird. The belt isn't like my driving force. Like it's kind of like the nucleus of it, but like the other things surround it so much that like those are really the motivations. And then like you're always trying to be the best anyway, you know, and you can't really control it. Even if you win and lose, like you can't control that stuff. Like you just control, like I said, coming in every day, being appreciative, having gratitude, trying your hardest every day. And then it's like, if you're good enough to win the belt, you are. If you're good enough to win that fight, you are. If the right blow lands for them or you know, it happens. So that's all you can really control. So that's what I control every day.
I was going to ask one last thing, because like we are asking the fighters to remember their last performance. So if you could comment on your fight against Jussier Formiga.
Oh God.
Sorry.
No, that was great. Like the first thing that came to mind is it was just like a hellish like fight. Like that guy, it was just, I never was so physically exhausted after that fight. Just like the pace it was at and the way it was fought at, with speed, with grappling. Like, you know, when I read people talk about it, like a full display of MMA grappling, and that is all the hardest stuff that you can do. The strength, the grappling, you know, to the really rapid grappling, to the whole, like it was just crazy. And it was one of those fights where I was like, man, like I got so much respect for Ortiz, because there was positions in there that like I'm always winning, and there's positions in there I was like, I'm gonna get him there and like it's gonna stop, and he wouldn't stop, so I'd have to keep going. And it was one of like, I remember going into the third, I probably lost the second at the very end of the round, even though I think I was winning that round overall, but it kind of ended weird. So I was like, he got it. So I just remember it was one of those times where it's like, you really need this round. Like you need it. You need to do something. You need to get an edge. And, you know, those are the fights that build you. You know, when there's something to win, there's like a challenge in front of you. You know, I didn't cruise through that fight by any means. I learned a lot, got to put on a lot of grappling in it, still dropped him with some stand-up. Followed my game plan, which was great, which I was really disciplined in, as far as just like the grappling base. And yeah, all I can say is it was a hard fight. It was madness, and it was one of those. It was a great fight that I think I'll always remember as being one of my hardest.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Who's the best athlete in your house?
Well, it's in question now after my wife played in a charity softball game with professional baseball players.
Oh, yeah.
And professional hockey players and professional football players. So her and all professional athletes, and she hit one shy of the cycle, which is every base. But she only got to hit 3 times, so it wasn't even possible to hit the cycle. But she hit a single, double, and a triple. A few RBIs, a few forced outs or whatever in the outfield. So I don't know the baseball terms, but so now it's in question. I don't know. I don't know. She was playing with people, you know, that we consider elite athletes, and she stole the show. So I don't know. I'll give it to her. Like, the fact that it's a question is, I think we know the answer.